Imagine this scenario. 6 Caribbean nations suddenly turning their backs on American tourists. No more flights. No more luxury resorts packed with United States visitors. No more billions flowing into their economies. Sounds impossible, right? Well, it's happening right now. 6 Caribbean countries have just announced a shocking boycott against United States travel, and the ripple effects are sending shockwaves through the tourism industry. Why would these nations risk billions in revenue? What does this mean for Americans who love their tropical getaways? And most importantly, is this the beginning of a full-blown United States tourism collapse? Buckle up, because what you're about to hear will change the way you see international travel forever. Number 1. Jamaica. Jamaica, the land of pristine beaches, reggae music, and carefree vacations, has just dropped a bombshell that could change everything for American travelers. In a stunning reversal of decades-old travel norms, the Jamaican government has announced strict new visa requirements exclusively for United States citizens. No longer can Americans simply land in Montego Bay or Kingston with just a passport and a return ticket. Now they must apply for a visa in advance, submit to background checks, and in some cases even prove they have sufficient funds to support their stay. Why is Jamaica doing this? The official reason: reciprocity. For years, the United States has imposed some of the toughest visa restrictions on Jamaican citizens. The denial rate for Jamaican visa applicants is notoriously high, with many being rejected over concerns about overstays or insufficient ties to their home country. Now, Jamaica is turning the tables, arguing that if the United States subjects its citizens to rigorous screening, then Jamaica has the right to do the same. But dig deeper and you'll find more explosive reasons. Overstays and illegal activity. Jamaican authorities claim that American tourists frequently abuse their visa-free access, overstaying their welcome or even engaging in illegal activities, from drug-related offenses to financial fraud. By tightening entry rules, Jamaica hopes to filter out high-risk travelers. Cultural disrespect and exploitation. There's growing resentment toward American tourists who treat Jamaica like a cheap playground. Reports of visitors disrespecting local customs, harassing residents, and contributing to environmental damage have fueled public outrage. The new visa policy is in part a response to these grievances. Economic rebalancing. Jamaica's economy has long been dependent on United States tourism dollars, but this reliance comes at a cost. Many argue that mass tourism has driven up living costs for locals while funneling profits to foreign-owned resorts. By restricting American visitors, Jamaica may be trying to shift toward a more sustainable, higher-quality tourism model. The fallout. Will this backfire? Jamaica's tourism industry thrives on American visitors. Nearly 70% of its tourists come from the United States. Hotels, tour operators, and local vendors depend on this steady flow of dollars. If Americans are deterred by the new visa rules, Jamaica could face a tourism revenue crash. And then there's airline chaos. Major U.S. carriers like Delta, American, and JetBlue operate frequent flights to Jamaica. If demand plummets, airlines could slash routes, making travel even harder. Resort layoffs are another risk. All-inclusive resorts, many of them owned by U.S. companies, may be forced to cut jobs if bookings decline. Local businesses are at risk too. From taxi drivers to craft vendors, countless Jamaicans rely on American tourists. A sudden drop could devastate families. Is this a political move? While some analysts believe Jamaica's decision is also a diplomatic power play, the Caribbean has long been frustrated with U.S. policies. From strict immigration rules to interference in regional affairs, by imposing visa restrictions, Jamaica may be sending a clear message. We won't be taken for granted anymore. What does this mean for American travelers? If you're used to spontaneous weekend getaways to Jamaica, those days are, well, pretty much over. Now you'll need to apply for a visa weeks in advance, possibly go through interviews, provide bank statements proving financial stability, and pass background checks, which could flag past legal issues. For some, this extra hassle will be a deal breaker, but for Jamaica, that might actually be the point. They're willing to lose some tourists if it means regaining control over who enters their country. The big question is, will other countries follow? If Jamaica's gamble pays off, if they manage to reduce problematic tourism while maintaining economic stability, other Caribbean nations could copy this model. This could be the start of a domino effect, reshaping how Americans travel abroad. Number 2. Barbados. The 15% tax penalty. Barbados has always been a paradise for wealthy Americans, until now. The island just announced a mandatory 15% tourism tax exclusively for United States citizens. That means every hotel stay, every restaurant bill, every excursion, Americans will pay extra. Why the discrimination? Barbados claims it's about economic rebalancing. For decades, American tourists have enjoyed the island's luxury while contributing to inflation and driving up property prices, pushing locals out. This tax, they argue, will fund affordable housing and infrastructure for Barbadians. But here's the kicker. Many see this as direct retaliation against the United States for its own travel restrictions. Some even call it a hidden boycott. If Americans have to pay more, many will simply choose other destinations. And Barbados seems fine with that. Number 3. The Bahamas. Cruise ship ban. The Bahamas is done with American cruise lines. In a stunning move, the government has announced a full ban on United States-based cruise ships docking at its ports. No more megaships flooding Nassau with thousands of passengers who spend little money on the island. The reason? The Bahamas argues that cruise tourism is exploitative. These ships bring overcrowding, environmental damage, and minimal economic benefit since most passengers eat and sleep on board, leaving little for local businesses. By banning them, the Bahamas hopes to attract higher quality, longer-staying tourists. But cruise companies are furious. This could cost them millions, and for Americans who love cheap, all-inclusive cruises, their options just got a lot smaller. Number 4. Trinidad and Tobago Spring Break Crackdown. Trinidad and Tobago has honestly just had enough of drunk, rowdy American college students. The country recently announced a total ban on spring break travel from the United States, putting in place strict visa screenings for young tourists during peak season. Why the sudden crackdown? After years of property damage, public disturbances, and even violent incidents, locals have started demanding action. The government says it's about protecting its citizens and culture from what they call disrespectful tourism. But U.S. travel agencies are panicking right now. Spring break in Trinidad was a huge moneymaker for them. Now, all those dollars are going somewhere else. Number 5. Dominica. The Nature Island's limits. Dominica, often called the Nature Island, is slamming the door on mass tourism. New laws now limit the number of United States visitors allowed each year, prioritizing eco-conscious travelers willing to pay premium prices for sustainable stays. The logic here, Dominica doesn't want to end up like other Caribbean islands, overdeveloped, polluted, and losing their natural beauty. By restricting tourism, they're aiming to preserve their environment. But this could mean fewer affordable options for the average American traveler. Number 6. Saint Vincent. The political boycott. This nation has taken probably the most aggressive stance, an outright boycott of United States tourists in protest of American foreign policy. The Prime Minister has openly criticized the United States for interference in Caribbean affairs and announced a freeze on all tourism promotions targeting Americans. Is this political suicide? Maybe. But Saint Vincent is betting on attracting tourists from other nations to replace that lost revenue. For Americans, though, it's a clear message. You're not welcome here. So the bigger picture, is this the end of United States tourism dominance? These 6 nations are making a statement. They no longer want to rely on American tourists, and honestly, if more countries follow, the United States tourism industry could face a disaster. What does this mean for you? If you're an American who loves Caribbean vacations, your options are shrinking fast. But beyond that, this is a wake-up call. The world is changing. Countries are standing up to the United States, refusing to be treated as just playgrounds for wealthy tourists. And if America doesn't change its policies, this could be just the beginning. Do you agree with these Caribbean nations? Should the United States retaliate? Or is this a long overdue reality check? If you think this is just the start of a global tourism shift, this story is far from over. We'll be tracking every update, every new boycott, and every economic fallout. And for those saying, I'll just vacation somewhere else, think again. If the Caribbean is doing this, who's to say Europe, Asia, or even Latin America won't follow? The era of American tourists being welcomed everywhere with open arms might be over. The question is, Will America adapt? Or will its tourism industry collapse under the weight of its own arrogance? The choice is yours. Wake up, speak up, and let's see where this goes.